Hey guys, welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. For the last couple of days, I have been working on a trailer for Served Cold. I'm very happy about the way it turned out, and I can't wait to show you guys. Hopefully that will be very soon. Also, thank you so much for pre-ordering Served Cold. I know that some of you definitely have, and what's really cool is Regina reached out to everyone who was in the book and was like, oh look, we're #1 release on Amazon. So that's really, really cool and exciting. So you guys had a hand in that, so thank you so much. I haven't done comment shoutouts in a minute, but I just keep having little things that I want to tell you guys, and I don't want to make the videos too long, but they will definitely be coming back. But this time I have some really cool book mail that came in from Kash's Book Cemetery. It was really cool. She reached out to me, she wanted to send me something, and I actually had unboxed it for the previous video, but the Choctaw Mist video was getting a little long, so I didn't want to add it on there. But I'm gonna go ahead and add it on here, and we can start that up right now. So I actually received some book mail from here in Germany, and I opened it up because I didn't know exactly who it was from right away, and then I realized it was who it was from, and I was like, okay, I definitely want to say this for a video. This is from Kash's Book Cemetery, so let's go through it together. Aww. Look how cute this is. It's a little black kitty cat, like washcloth, I think. This is so cute. It's so cute. Ooh, and 2 balloons. Oh, this one's really, really cute. Has like a little ghost on it, and this one is a pumpkin. And I would blow them up, but we remember what happened with the beach ball. Aw, and there's like a little pouch of goodies here. Cute. Pushkin. This is so cute. I am smiling. This is great. Oh, this is so cool. This is the cutest thing ever. I want to be this pin. Look at that. It's like a little bat girl. This is amazing. Okay, there's so much stuff in here. Oh, this is cool. This is so cool. Tits out. Tits out. It's like a harpy, but it's a bat. I wonder if there's a name for that. Witch. This is awesome. This is a very cute bookmark. This stationery has a little cat on it. This is so, oh my god, it's so cute. Hi Marissa, I hope you enjoyed the book. I still have to read it myself, but I've always enjoyed the author's writing. Thanks for all your amazing creativity and content. Even though we just met, this year feels like we have a lot in common. Absolutely. So if you don't know Kasha, you're missing out, because if you love horror, like, this woman has a complete huge filing cabinet in her mind of movies and books. She is a longtime horror fan. Her knowledge is amazing, and I got to speak with her for the first time when I did like a Zoom meeting for Amy McCaw's. She was like doing like a horror conference type thing, and that's when I first got to meet Kasha. I was already subscribed, but I was like, I didn't know her personally. And it was during this Zoom conference where I was like, this girl, like, I have a lot in common with her, and I really want to get to know her better. But if you're not subscribed to her channel already, you definitely need to subscribe. You're going to appreciate it. She's going to talk about a lot of books, a lot of type of books that I don't talk about, a lot more content that I think that you guys will really, really like. And she sent me this. This is Christina Henry's Horseman. Everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horseman. Everyone in Sleepy Hollow knows about the Horseman, but no one really believes him. Not even Ben Van Brunt's grandfather, Brom Bones, who was there when it was said the Horseman chased the upstart crane out of town. Brom says that's just legend, like village gossips talking. More than 30 years after those storied events, the village is a quiet place. 14-year-old Ben loves to play Sleepy Hollow Boys, reenacting the events Brom once lived through. But then Ben and a friend stumble across the headless body of a child in the woods near the village, and the discovery makes Ben question everything the adults in Sleepy Hollow have ever said. Could the horseman be real after all? Or does something even more sinister stalk the woods? This sounds really, really exciting. And I love the artwork on the inside, just topping off the chapters. Now I have to watch Sleepy Hollow, the film, the Tim Burton film now. Thank you so much, Kesha. I really, really appreciate this so much. This was just really, really nice of you. Thank you so much. The Howling of the Dead is about Braden and Kaylee, and they have decided to move to the middle of the woods. And the reason why they decided to do this is because Braden's aunt has passed away and she left him her cabin in the woods. And it sounds like a really great opportunity because Kaylee wants to raise and breed horses, and Braden kind of wants to work on his music as he's a musician in a metal band. But the way all of these events begin to unfold is definitely quite alarming. Before his aunt dies, Braden suffers from sleep paralysis, and he has a really bad episode one night where he sees his aunt in this very strange, crazy, scary, evil transformation in his room. And when he wakes up the next morning, this is when he learns that she passed away. So Braden and Kaylee head out to where the cabin is, and they have decided that they're gonna set up their ideal life here, and it's gonna be great. But things go wrong. Really wrong. So this story is very pulpy, has a lot of gore, has a lot of sex, it has a lot of blood in it, and it has a lot of supernatural activity in it as well, which was really fun. I really did like the story. I like stories about cabins in the woods, and there's, you know, something kind of supernatural happening, and it's really dangerous for everyone involved, and finding out what that story is. Like, I love that trope. It's never gonna be boring for me. I love it. And I think that the story was pretty decent here. Like, I did like it, and I really did want to, you know, find out what's going on with this place. A few of the issues though that I did have with the story is that the pacing is really, really fast. So we don't really get to spend a lot of time in any one situation. It's just kind of like going from one thing to another very fast. It's also doing a lot of telling and not showing, which is something that I prefer. Some people don't really, you know, it's not a big deal for them, but I really do prefer that. It's not character driven either, so that's another thing that I, you know, just really treasure, is like getting kind of close to these characters and kind of just feeling some type of bond or, you know, just emotional connection with. And with Braden and Kaylee, they're not necessarily characters you're going to care about. It's kind of a little bit more like, if I were to equate this book to something, maybe like a horror matinee, and you're going there for some thrills and chills and just fun. You know, that's what this book is mainly. I did like the supernatural aspect of this. I think there's one creature in here. It's like it's a bird, but it's not a bird, and actually has human eyes, and I really, really liked that. So there was some really interesting things here that I think were really fun. I do think it could have really used like a professional editor though, because there are some repetitions, like, you know, words being reused multiple times in a paragraph, stuff like that. Those things just really stick out for me, like patterns like that. So I just pick up on them. Might not be a big deal for everyone else, but they just kind of like, I just kind of start seeing it like everywhere, you know, like I start noticing it everywhere. You guys know that I'm not into like the sex scene thing because I think it's funny. It's just really funny to me. Like, I mean, I guess with my horror, like I don't want to be turned on, I want to be scared. And when I read about characters who are having sex, which makes them vulnerable, it doesn't make me more scared for them or worried for them. It doesn't increase the tension or the suspense. It doesn't really make the atmosphere, you know, just more unsettling or something. It doesn't really do much. It just kind of feels like it's something like in between, you know, the story from A to B or whatever. But it's definitely fun in that like kind of pulpy way. So there's a lot of blood and gore and hardcore sex. So I know a lot of people are gonna like that. It does lack some suspense and tension and atmosphere, which I think if the story was allowed to open up and breathe a little bit, and we had some of those elements in there, I think that would have been really, really cool. Thank you so much to Jenson for sending me her story for my honest review. I'm definitely looking forward to what Jenson does in the future. I really liked her imagination here. Cunning Folk is about a small family, Tom, Fiona, and Gracie. And they move into this house that they have just purchased in this rural area. It's a new beginning for them. This is the first house they're ever gonna have, so all of their hopes and dreams are wrapped up in this house, and not to mention all of their money. The house has been empty for 10 years, so it's just completely wrecked. So Tom has his laundry list made out, and he starts getting to work. Tom goes next door to introduce himself to the neighbors, and these neighbors have an amazingly beautiful garden. It is insane how beautiful it is. It's almost otherworldly. It doesn't seem like it's even possible. It has so many different flowers, and it's so green, and it's buzzing with bees, and there's birds, and it just feels like life is just booming here. While on his side of the fence, it looks like somebody dropped, you know, a chemical spill and there's nothing there. So he goes over there to introduce himself, but he has a very unsettling and weird and kind of disturbing experience with them. They are not nice, they are not friendly, and they don't seem to give one shit about Tom at all. And this plants the seed for him in his mind and in his heart and soul that he does not like these people. And as time goes by, Tom begins to be very distracted and consumed by the neighbors. And his wife is really upset about this because this means work on the house is not getting done. But Tom is actually experiencing things that are really, really strange. And he's experiencing it all alone. Okay, it's gonna be no surprise, but I really love this story. When I first started reading it, I was like, the writing style seemed a little different to me. It was a little bit more, I wouldn't say it was like overly descriptive, but I felt like it was kind of like, you know, kind of reiterating itself a little bit. And I wasn't really sure how that was going to work for me because I don't really like that much, but as I kept reading, it really wasn't an issue. So I got over it, which was really good because the story was just drawing me in so hard. It was so good. So I think the things that I liked about this story is like, not only is it a really interesting story about, you know, a marriage that gets put into a position that seems pretty ordinary, you know, where you have someone who's decided they want to buy a house and it's a total piece of shit, but they're gonna fix it up. And so you can imagine like just the typical resentments, miscommunications, and exhaustion that you would have from doing something like that. For instance, when I lived in upstate New York, my then boyfriend bought a house. And it was this really cool old barn that had been converted into a house in the 70s, except that it had been empty for, I think it was almost 20 years. It was a very long time. So the house was like exactly everything like this house was. You know, it didn't have any running water, it had mold everywhere. You could barely live in it because there was no facilities. You know, there was nothing to cook with, there was nothing to shower with. It was intense. But we were both like, we can fix it up. And as you can imagine, no. It was really hard, and it put a wedge between us, and it was a very difficult time. So as I was reading this story, I was like, oh God, I know exactly what that's like. And then you put into the equation that you're kind of experiencing something and your significant other doesn't believe you. And not just doesn't believe you, is like losing faith in you as every day goes by. So this like breaking down of Tom is like really, really cool. And all of the things that he's experiencing with the neighbors is so wild. It's not necessarily a story about revenge or anything, even though revenge is definitely a big part of it, but it's kind of more like getting to the bottom of shit. You know, which is so great. So Cunning Folk in itself, the name itself outside of the book, are also known as folk healers or people who practice folk magic. So when I did my reading blog for this, I was like, oh, you know, it feels like there might be like some, I don't know, like maybe some fairy legend in here, some fairy folklore, because it feels like there's a little bit of that symbology here and feeling, and it's not fairies. And it's not a haunted house story. It's not a haunted house story, which made it seem even more intriguing because everything that was happening seemed really, 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 really spooky. But it's definitely some crazy shit. And in true Nevill style, you know, he is just so good at slowly drawing it out, you know, just all of this weird shit, and you're just trying to figure out like what it is. And I really love that. So this is one of those stories where it's like the dad who's being affected by unseen things. And he's kind of alone in that, right? And I love that. Like, I love that situation. It's a certain type of energy and I really like it. Everyone has had a bad neighbor. And I feel like this book does offer some therapeutic assistance with that. Because there are things that happen where you're just, that are pretty violent and intense, and you're just like, yes. There is a character also in Cunning Folk that sort of reminded me of a character from, I believe it was Last Days. And it's like this character who is a bit of a shut-in and a bit of a hoarder, a male character, but also has some information for the main character. And we also have one of them here.
Hold on a minute.
Did you have something you want to add? Where's your costume?
Look, I don't need the outfit, okay? It fell off somewhere. I don't remember where.
What did you come here for?
Oh yeah, I liked the book too, but I think that there should have been more skulls.
Okay, that's very helpful. I'll send him a note. How's that?
Perfect. That's all.
In the story notes, Nevill explains that this book was originally written in screenplay format because he had actually wrote it to be a film. And he also describes it as like his first comic horror novel. I really like the humor in this book. I feel like with Tom's character, it's very spiky because he is like, you know, like he's like up to here with shit, you know? It's not necessarily a dark humor, but it's more this like tragic comedy. There's this really funny scene, this really funny, hilarious scene. The neighbors, they have some type of occupation where they do shit for people. Don't know what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not gonna tell you. And so they have people who come over to their house. And there's an exchange of goods or some sort. But sometimes these people will like kiss their hands, you know, like this. And but in one scene, there's a client who comes and they have like this exchange or whatever. And she starts motorboating
the butt cheeks of like one of the neighbors.
So I definitely like this. It was really a unique story, pretty bloody, pretty gory. I loved the neighbor aspect because I feel like that's something that everybody can relate to as well. And I was reading it deep into the night because I would keep reading it until my eyes like glazed over. I just didn't want to stop reading. So that's the sign of a good book. Thank you so much to Adam Nevill for sending me Cunning Folk for my honest review. I really appreciate it. In the acknowledgements, my name is mentioned because I did read Weird and Other Derelictions, so that was super, super nice. So that's really, really special to me, and it feels, you know, kind of otherworldly, you know, to be able to read your favorite author's book and like see your name in there. That's pretty cool. So I hope you liked this review. If you did, please like and comment below. Tell me your thoughts. Have you read Cunning Folk? Have you read The Howling of the Dead? Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And other than that, please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.